How's it going? AJ Siegel here. So yesterday we spoke about, going global, the pros and cons of going global in general, what it's like selling in different countries, what it's like using competencies that work for you in a certain geography in comparison with taking it overseas, the cost structure, regulations, sales cycles, business cycles in general, and more. What is important to understand that, again, the corporate level and global level need to coincide with one another, and as well as the business level. But it is important to understand that when we go global, this is more of a strategy than it is a tactic. You can't really react fast enough. So without further ado, let's continue. Episode 10. So let's talk about entering new markets. So many companies wish to go global very early on in the roadmap. For example, in the Israeli market, relevant for smaller markets as well in Europe or anywhere in the world, because it's a small market, then most Israelis go global straight to the US. But how easy to compete over there? What needs to be done to ensure success? So when we talk about entry strategies, we talk about the where and the how. So let's talk about the cage distance framework. This is a smart framework that is very much similar to, what we do at the business level when we create our business models. So cage framework is pretty much similar. It goes on the cultural level, administrative level, geographic level, and economic level. So we do a sensitivity analysis and we compare two countries to one another. So for example, if we take China and Canada, so in terms of sensitivity analysis, we may need to translate text to Chinese. Because if we're based in the States, for example, and we're going to Canada, in most cases, we won't need to translate anything unless we're going into the French-Canadian market. So we know that there's a different culture in comparison with the American culture or in the Canadian culture, which is quite similar to the American one. Administrative-wise, can we use our existing infrastructure? Maybe we can, maybe we can't. But in China, for example, we'll need to launch everything via a joint venture. In Canada, we don't need to. We can do everything from the States. In China, you have to, because this is regulatory, based on the Chinese government. This isn't something that you can go against. On the geographic example, what would be our working hours? So we might need to hire local reps due to time differences. I mean, China is like GMT +6 or GMT +7. I'm not certain. I didn't check. But then you have in the States, it could be GMT -7. So there's a 14-hour difference, time zone difference. So this is things to consider. On the economic level, would we need to change pricing? Do we need to change pricing? Can we keep the same profit margins? And this goes back to what I said about Carrefour. So pricing would have to be adjusted to become competitive, okay? Everything in China in comparison with the States or in Europe is much, much cheaper. Then you have to think about the profit margins. Can you still bank on those margins? Maybe it's not relevant. Pricing will need to be adjusted a little, for example, if I go to Canada, but it would be marginal because the price differences are pretty much the same. Canadians would be more willing to pay the extra Canadian dollar, maybe, in comparison with Chinese who won't be able to pay it. That's pretty much it. Now, when we talk about it, so we said the cultural level is naturally between the firm's home country and its targeted host country. Social norms and morals, beliefs, values, and whatnot. Administrative-wise, they are captured in factors such as shared monetary or political associations. For example, Canada and the States have very, very similar political associations and shared monetary to some degree. Or, even the exchange rates are not that bad. I could pay with American dollars in Canada. I'm not necessarily able to pay with American dollars in China, or I would have to use things like WeChat. I can't use cash. People don't use cash over there. Political administrative barriers such as tariffs, trade quotas, restrictions, geographic does not imply only physical distance, but following attributes like physical size, Canada versus China, within country distances to its borders, countries' topography, time zones, as I said, economic, wealth and per capita income of consumers. In China, people make less money than in Canada. I can't I can't charge the same amount of money. So again, I'd like to thank you for your time, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow.